As our COVID cases start to level off and trend in the right direction, the rest of the country is following suit.
And 9 health expert Dr. Payal Kohli is back with us this afternoon. We're glad to have you back.
Here.
We're talking about these restrictions and how things are changing, where the trends are going now. We're following some of these numbers. So some schools are dropping the mask mandates right now. How do you feel about that? Does that make sense?
You know, ladies, it's so nice to be back in person, and as the cases start to go down, we have to dance, right? We have to move a little. We can start to relax some restrictions. But when it comes to masks in schools, it's too early because we either have to have a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. We can't not have either. And we have tried so hard to get our kids back to school. Those under 5 are not even yet eligible for the vaccine,
right, that
it's just a bit too early.
What are the other downsides of removing this mask mandate? I feel like at the beginning of the pandemic, it was, under 5%, under 5%. Now it's like we're celebrating because we're at 12%, but that still seems like super high.
You know, we saw what happened last year when we removed the masks, right? We had vaccinated people in May lift the masks, and we got Delta. So the biggest downside, and something that we're really rolling the dice on right now, is that next variant's going to come up, and it's going to be resistant to our vaccines. There's no guarantee we're going to get lucky like we did with Omicron, and therefore removing it too early can really set us up for that.
And like you said, it is a dance that we've been doing for 2 years, and most people are like, I'm off the dance floor. I'm done, So how do we get to the point where we can all safely say, okay, we're going to hear about this from time to time, but we don't need to walk around in our lives with our mask attached?
Well, our dancing partner tells us when we're done and when we can get off the dance floor, because the virus is dictating for us. So we have to listen to what it says, which means low positivity, ideally below 5, but with this variant, we might take 10. Sustained low positivity for at least 2 weeks, showing that we're in a steady state pattern, and no new variants. And when those 3 things happen, we can start to relax some of our mask mandates.
Okay.
Do those 3 things mean an endemic? Are we nearing that? Is that close?
Yeah, it's close. I don't think we can be endemic when we decide we're endemic, when we decide we're tired. I think what determines endemicity, it's a tough word.
I can't say it.
We'll let you handle
Go
it.
ahead.
Is basically when we have good control of the virus. So when we're not getting outbreaks, when we're not getting uncontrolled infection, and we're not stressing our resources, which we're getting close to. I think we're weeks away from that. But loosening these mask mandates could, again, change the trajectory of where things are headed.
It's interesting. I talked to someone today who just is recovering from Omicron, had a tough battle with Omicron. I know friends that had a tough battle with Delta. Do we have any numbers, like how many of us have had COVID? You always hear about the folks that, it was nothing, 2 days, and I was done.
Well, so many of us have had COVID, Kim, and we're not even diagnosing a lot of the cases. I see a patient in the office every day that says, it's just a cold. I didn't lose my taste of smell, so I thought it wasn't COVID. But it was COVID. But I think what we're learning about, which is very interesting and exciting, is which patients might progress to long COVID. So we now actually have a risk prediction model. We have a scoring system where you can put your numbers in, and it includes your age, it includes how severe your illness was, it includes whether you have asthma, and then there's these 5 index symptoms, fatigue, fever, shortness of breath, cough, and gastrointestinal symptoms. How many of those you've had, and then there's a blood test. And you put it all together in this model, and it tells us your antibody, pattern, and we can figure out your risk of having long COVID and treat you early.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's wonderful.
We're making
learning more and more.
Progress. Okay. Eventually, we're going to start talking about other things with you one day.
I'm so
Are you ready? Can you imagine? Come here and not talk about COVID?
That'll be quite an experience.
Well, it's good to see you.
You
Thank
too,
you, Dr.
ladies.
Kohli.